Our matchup against Arizona State. Obviously, last weekend didn't go well. You guys talked to me after the game, and after watching the film, it's come back basically to we got to find a way to get better and learn from it. I think we've too many mistakes to overcome. Hard to do against a really good team. Kansas is not an easy opponent. I think you look at the conference. There's a lot of parity in the conference, and anyone has a shot, and especially when you make too many mistakes as a team. So we're not able to overcome it, but we've had to learn from it. So even though it happened, we all have to learn from it. We all need to improve, myself included as head coach, and all three phases need to get that going because we don't have a lot of time. We've got to get ready for the next one against Arizona State, who's done some really good things. And looking at their team, I mean, Kenny Dillingham's a really good coach, and I like the way he does. I have a lot of respect for him and the way he coaches his team. You can tell he's got a great connection with his players, and he's a local kid, so he's from that area. So he grew up, ASU fan, and knows what that program can do. And I like that he's brought in a staff that I think he did the right way, bringing in a lot of local staff and great. I mean, I know a lot of guys on his coaching staff that they're really good coaches, good men. And so looking at their talent that they have, it's a difficult matchup. You have to be ready. We're going on the road. We already know the time for that game, and that be a little better weather than what we have in here. But looking forward to the matchup. I think the goal is for us to, like we said every week, stay humble, stay hungry, and find ways to get better. We can definitely do that from last week. A lot of things to learn, but also some really good things to praise. So I think we can get to our position of just getting back to learning and getting better and focus on the next opponent. It's a difficult matchup. You look at what they do as a team, and I like the way they play the game. So it's going to be a cool matchup, and hope it brings out the best in us. And we're going to need that going into this game Saturday. So what questions do you guys have for me?
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Jared Lloyd.
Kalani, when the offense is struggling to put up points like you have the last 2 weeks, how much do you focus on executing what you're already running, and how much do you focus on changing and maybe going different directions? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between it all, because you want to be able to. The key to execution is just eliminating the mistakes. There shouldn't be any mistakes. Whether it's alignment issues or technique issues, or even running the wrong route or not doing the correct assignment. So all that should be cleaned up. But there's also some room for improvement where you can actually install some stuff. You want to have a foundation of stuff that you're good at and that you could lean on. But that's the stuff that everybody knows is coming. So we have to have that, and you have to have a little bit installed that gives you the favorable matchup, depending on who you're going against. So that's what we're trying to get done. Obviously, it's worked quite a bit, and the offense, they're getting in the red zone. We just got to score touchdowns. It's hard to get in the red zone and only kick field goals. Even though you have a good kicker like Will Farron, you're going to need to score points and score touchdowns and finish the drives. It gives you a little bit more motivation and a little bit more oomph when you're trying to get it done. So that's what we're focusing on. We'll get there. I feel good about this matchup this weekend, and for us to learn from some of the things, the lessons that we can learn from this last game.
You touched on this after the game, but now with a chance to look at the film, Kalani, what were the red zone issues? Why did the offense really struggle there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things. It's from the poor execution, communicating better, and that's what it comes down to. But you also give credit for Kansas for making the plays. I mean, that's just part of the game. That's the game of football. Everybody would like to be perfect and be 100%. But the key is, like, you have chances, you have opportunities to make plays. It's really difficult when you turn the ball over in that situation, when you can, at least the worst case scenario, you come up with 3 points from it, and then it's a successful drive. It's really hard when you come away with nothing, and that's the main thing is we cannot be coming up with 0 points in that situation when we're in there.
Thanks, Jared. We'll take our next questions from Jay Drew and then Jake Hatch.
Kalani, BYU's had quite the history with Arizona State from the distant past. Obviously, you faced them when you were at Utah quite a bit in the Pac-12. Is there a rivalry there? Is there any extra motivation, or is this just kind of nothing needs to be said because it's such a huge game on the Big 12 stage?
Well, I think we're going to focus on the game, but you look at the strong LDS community in the area, in the Phoenix area. I think there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of people that we know from there. We're bordering states, and so naturally that's always going to have being familiar and knowing each other is going to have a little bit more in the competition compared to not knowing anybody on the other side. And so that's going to be part of it. But I think looking at what they do as a team, man, you can't be anything but impressed with how they coach their guys, how hard the players play, and the results that they're getting. And so they're ranked for a reason, and I feel this like connection to them because nobody cared about us before the season. None of you guys even predicted this happening. So to have this game be something with a lot of meaning is really cool at this point, and that's a huge compliment to their coaches, their staff, and their fans. And so it's going to be fun to go down there and have this matchup. And we know that there's people in the area that are fans of ASU and there's fans of us. So that's going to be kind of fun that we're in the same conference and able to have this game.
And then just following up, I know Crew Wakely went out. I don't think he came back in the game. What's his status? By chance, was it season ending? No,
it's not season ending. There's a chance he could play this weekend. Obviously, you have to be able to practice, and so we're looking at it the next little bit. But yeah, it hurt us not having him back in the game. But I thought the guys that came in, Raider Damuni and others that came in to replace him, did some really good things. And so we're ready to play if he's able to go, but he's got to be ready to practice. And so he's not out for this week, and he's definitely not out for the season. So we're hoping to get him back this Saturday.
Kalani, you talked about the fact you want to see more scoring in the red zone. Will you alter your practice structure to emphasize that this week?
No, we just got to be better in practice and be more efficient. And sometimes, execution's got to be the key. And everybody wants to score in the red zone. We're no different than anyone else. We've been throughout the season. We've been one of the top teams in the country in scoring in the red zone. It's just the last 2 weeks. It's been kind of this hasn't gone our way. So we just got to refocus, find ways to improve, and make sure that we get in the end zone this time. And that's the goal.
You guys were reportedly in the mix to bring Sam Leavitt in when he was in the transfer portal this past offseason. What do you see for him on film? Really
good player. I mean, he comes from a good family and so he's super athletic. He can run. He's got an accurate arm. I think he's got a great football IQ, and so he's dangerous. He's got a lot of football to play. I think he saw some opportunities over there at ASU, and look at him, he's thriving in it. So he's going to be a difficult matchup for us for sure. But man, it's good to see good young men that are from amazing families that get what they want. And he's doing some really cool things, and he's going to be doing really good things for a long time because I think he's only a freshman right now. So the sky's the limit for him. Hopefully, we just don't see that great sky's the limit performance this weekend.
Go ahead, Mitch Harper.
Kalani, you brought it up on Saturday, and Chase did as well, that you guys no longer independents. There's so much still on the line. Does that give you confidence that this team will bounce back quicker from a loss than maybe in recent years when there wasn't as much on the line this late in the season?
Yeah, I think we had to kind of explain that to them at the end of the game in the locker room, that because there's a little bit of that, like that feeling of when you lost Coastal Carolina or you lose a game early and then you're just you're out of the mix for a New Year's Six bowl and things like that. Now we're in a conference. We're still sitting at the top of the conference, but really all that stuff doesn't really matter. We just had to explain to them that we're focused on trying to win the next one, learn our lessons from this, praise the good things that happened, but we have the system's still the same, and the process is still the same. We have to be humble and be hungry and be able to move on to the next one and get ready for Super Bowl 11. Obviously, Super Bowl 10 didn't go our way, but that it's worked for us. Being whether the the outcome was in our favor or not, we have to be in this same situation. We got to move on to the next one and find ways to get better. You just can't let the sting of a game or the excitement and energy of win of a game affect the next week, and that's what we got to get back to. And I feel like this will be a good lesson for our guys and be a good moment for us to learn, and it's a really good position us to be in. That's why I love our partnership and our membership in the Big 12, is that we have this opportunity to keep playing, and there's a lot to play for still. And so that's going to be our focus. But with all that being said and done, let's get back to being at our best and playing at our best. And if we can do that, we will live with the result. And that's going to be the goal for going into this week.
Coming out of the film review on Kansas, what stood out on the defensive effort from that game, and maybe areas that you want to see improvement heading down the final stretch of the season?
Well, I mean, it just seems like some of the mistakes that we make, and give Kansas a lot of credit for making plays, and they did a lot of unique, different things that we didn't see on film. They did just some unique formations and unique plays. But when you look at it, we held them to the lowest output of the season. You're looking at the yards and the points. What matters is we need to hold them to less points than what we did. We got to score more than them, and the defense, we've got to find a way to hold them to less points. And I know Jay and the rest of the defensive staff feel like we could have played better. So we're not going to be sitting there saying, okay, great, that was awesome with the defense. The defense could have done more, and really, it's the stuff that we can fix. You go through, okay, were we aligned correctly? Did we know our assignment? Did we communicate well? And did we use the proper technique? Let's go and fix those things right away. And if we can get that done today, we would have played better last week. But now we definitely can't make those same mistakes going into Saturday. But to combine that with, you did some wonderful things too. Like the stuff that you did well, let's motivate them to keep doing that and be consistent in that behavior and those plays that we did a great job. Otherwise, we're just too focused on all the negative things when the defense actually did some good things, offense did some good things, and so did special teams. We just didn't do enough good things to overcome the mistakes that we made as a team.
Thanks, Mitch. We'll take our last couple questions from Jake Hatch and then Jared Lloyd.
Kalani, I asked you about Sam Leavitt. I also want to ask you about Cam Skattebo. He seems to be kind of the heart and soul of that offense. What do you see from him on film?
Oh, man, he's a dangerous running back. And so I know a lot of credit goes to the running back, but you have to give credit to that O-line. Big, strong, physical. Receivers block downfield. Their tight ends block really well too. So, and then there's a number of backs that can run the ball. And so they well-coached team. Marcus Arroyo's their offensive coordinator. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to set up an offense. Their coaches, Hines Ward's are coaching the receivers. I mean, it's an all-star cast when you look at their coaching staff, so you know they're coaching them well. But when you combine that with a kid that can just run, I really like the way he plays the game of football. He's physical, but you could tell he's having fun out there. And man, it's been a pleasure watching him play. I just don't want to have fun watching him play this Saturday. It's a tough task, but I'm hoping that we can get our guys ready this week and prepare for this tough matchup. And then when we go through this tough matchup, just like how they had the same approach going to the Kansas game, we have to be ready to stop them, and that's hard to do when they can throw the ball, run the ball, and they have so many players that complement each other on the offensive side. A lot of dangerous weapons with some great coaching. It's a tough task, but we've got to find a way to answer it.
And then also just a quick scouting report of their defense.
Yeah, defense is opportunistic to find ways to make plays. They're dangerous up front. A lot of physicality to their game. You don't go into Kansas State, into Manhattan, and just hold them to that low output like they did if you're not a good team. So there's tons of talent. I know a lot of this game of football, everybody gives a lot of attention to the offense, but this defense can play, and they have tons of talent on their team. I think Coach Dillingham and the staff's done a great job developing their guys. You can tell they have a really great culture on their team, and they're starting to believe and feel really confident in what they're doing, and they should be, because they've made some really cool things happen in the game of football, and I like what they're doing. It's going to be a cool matchup, and looking forward to going to that game.
Kalani, you mentioned crew. Just wondering about the overall health of your team. You're late in the season here. How do you feel like they've held up, with all the work that you guys put in the offseason to try and be ready for this?
The guys are banged up. That's the game. I mean, nobody should be feeling 100% that's playing football right now, and that's not just on our side, but everywhere. Guys are banged up, and You might have to go into your depth a little bit. I thought Isaiah Jota came in and did a great job at tackle for us. We've had Bruce Mitchell and Sonny Makasini and others step up at O-line. Now that Connor's back, it's good to have him back. But a lot of guys are banged up. You just got to – this is tough man football. The difference between banged up and not able to go is that's you can't expect it to be perfect. So ASU's playing banged up. We are. That's the game of football. When you get to the 11th game, it's just a matter of who's willing to do it and who's willing to make those plays. And it's going to hurt anyways. You might as well try to make it work out in your favor. And then we have some guys that we can lean on with our depth. We got guys that are coming back from injury. Obviously, we hope to see Kime back in the postseason, but Sione Mo should be back with us too. And as guys start to trickle back in, we can really lean on the depth of our team to help alleviate some of the banged up guys. But the game of football, that's just, you have to learn how to play with a little bit of soreness. Even coaches, I'm banged up. My legs hurt. It's okay. We just got to keep going.
It's a play you're not going to see very often, but do you address that pooch kick and how that might happen? Do you address it differently after what happened on Saturday? You
have to. I mean, that's. I think we're so focused on getting a stop there because we've seen so many teams just go for it in that situation, and that was unfortunate the way it worked. I thought Evan did a great job. He was playing man-to-man coverage, and so when the ball was in the air, I don't think he realized that it was kicked. He's focused on being on his island by himself, and so when it bounced off his face, we still had a chance to recover it. When that happens, you have to get on the ball because it hit our own guy. Normally, if you can see that the kick happening, you just get away from it, and they get the ball, and backed up for our offense. But at least you don't give up points. It's hard that those events happened, and then they get the ball on the 3-yard line, and you just have to play ball. But if it's on the 3-yard line, let's answer that and stop them and force them to kick a field goal. It's things like that. You just have to have a different type of mindset playing defense, and sometimes things go your way and sometimes they don't. How are you going to react to it? I don't think our response to that whole situation, because I believe they just ran the ball and scored a touchdown there. And it's like, I don't like that response. I want to see it be different. I want to see us respond better to that. And so this game didn't go in our favor. I want to see our response be a lot different. And if it's going to be different, then I got to lead the way. I got to be an example to it. From what I see from the boys today and what I felt from after the game, I feel like they're in a really good spot right now. I'm excited to see these guys play after this. We face some adversity, we face a loss. Now we're going to learn from it, and let's see what type of team comes out. This is a good moment for our identity to show.
Thanks so much, Coach. It's always great to see you. Have a great week.
Great to see you guys. Thank you.
We'll have John Nelson up next.
John? Big John?
So, Coach. How you doing? Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you, Coach.
Hi, John. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep.
Just wait for some questions to come in.
Hey,
There we go.
love you,
Let's
Coach.
go ahead and start with Jared Lloyd.
John, you may have heard this. We were just talking to Kalani about that pooch kick. It's kind of a quirky play that you haven't seen. What does the defense have to do to react differently? How do you communicate with guys if the ball's kicked instead of thrown? I'm just curious how you guys handle that moving forward.
Yeah, it's obviously something we haven't seen before, and we just got to learn from it. Our guys, we're in the right spot, make a play. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, but that's all right. That's football. Can't let them score on the goal line, score a touchdown, at least have to hold them to a field goal. That doesn't change whether it's a pooch kick or a fumble or a pick that gets turned around right there. So no matter what happens, we can't let them score a touchdown right there. And as far as the pooch kick, that's just the way football goes sometimes.
As you look at what the defense was able to do overall, pretty good. Obviously, lots you want to improve on. But how do you build off of that going up against a good offense this weekend?
Yeah, we take the victories in that game, and the stuff we did good, and we try and translate it onto this next game. And we just keep playing our game. I mean, the standard on defense doesn't change. Coach Hill's made sure of that each game we go into. So we just game didn't go our way, but we're still going to play hard on defense no matter who we're playing. So that's the standard, and that's what we're going to do.
We'll take our next questions from Jay Drew and then Sean Walker.
John, I got 2 questions. One, we just heard Coach Sitake say this is a good moment for our identity to show. In your eyes, what is that identity for this 2024 BYU football team?
Yeah, well, the identity is that, we're going to play hard no matter who we're playing. And you can pick us to lose, you can pick us to be underdogs, but it doesn't matter to us. I mean, we're going to believe in ourselves no matter what game we're playing, no matter what team we're playing. And Arizona State is just another game on our schedule that we need to win and play hard through. And that's our identity.
And then speaking of Arizona State, the famous Tyler Algier play 3 years ago. What do you remember about that play, and then just what do you remember overall about facing the Sun Devils in that game?
I remember that they're a really really well coached team, and they had a lot of studs on their team. I mean, Jaden Daniels and a ton of other guys that went on to play at other places or in the NFL. So I know they got studs on their team and everything like that. And as far as the Tyler Algier play, I remember just a guy that wouldn't quit on his team no matter what happened. No matter, if Jaron throws a pick right there, the team's got his back. And if that happened to be Tyler, then that was Tyler. And that just speaks volumes about how he plays and where he is now in the NFL and everything. But I just remember the guys, after that happened, at least the defensive guys on the sideline were like, if Tyler's going to do that for us, I mean, we got to show up for him. So I just remember that team and that game all being about playing team football.
Well, speaking of stud players on their team, John, they've got another stud running back at ASU in Cam Skattebo. I'm sure you need no introduction to him, but you guys have faced some really good running backs last couple of weeks, Mekhi Bernard and Devin Neal, obviously last week and whatnot. Can you take kind of what you guys have learned and scouted and implemented and that kind of thing in defending a guy who is as explosive and dynamic as someone like Skattebo?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. He's a great player, and he's got a great offensive line blocking for him. But our main goal on defense is to stop the run, and that's not going to change who we're playing. Obviously, Skattebo's a heck of a player, and he's done a lot of great things this season. But our mentality and our mindset's not going to change, and we still got to cover the receivers. And we still got to get turnovers any way we can. So yeah, we're definitely going to keep our eye on Skattebo the whole game and play our style of defense.
Go ahead, Jake Hatch.
John, I just want to ask you, this juncture in the season, it feels like everybody's beat up, but how are you feeling physically as you go into the stretch run here?
I feel great. I know we got some guys on our team that are banged up, but I think our strength and conditioning coaching staff's done a great job of making sure that we're as good as we can be. But as far as feeling banged up, I think Coach Kalani said it. I mean, everyone's banged up, but that's just part of football and playing in November. So this is where we kind of got to dig deep in our culture and in our roster to find guys that are willing to play and put their bodies on the line. So, and I think we got no shortage of that around here. So, I'm feeling good about where we are physically.
What's the mindset of the team looking at this week after coming off that loss?
Yeah, it was a game that got away from us, and props to Kansas. They played a great game against us, and it's happens. It's football. Not a lot of teams go undefeated, but we just got to take the lessons we learned and apply them to this week, and we should get back to BYU football, and that's playing our hardest no matter who we're playing, and we gotta do that on Saturday.
Go ahead, Jared.
Just one more from me, John. Just to piggyback off of what you were just talking about, the chance to show resiliency, is that something you guys embrace with a little bit more urgency, or do you try and keep that level mentality of let's go take care of business just like we've done before?
Yeah, I think the attitude around the team right now is Arizona State's the only game that matters right now, and it doesn't matter what's after that or what the playoff rankings are or the top 25. None of that matters. All that matters is Arizona State and how we're going to win that game, and that's going to be our focus this week.
Thanks so much, John. That's all the questions for today.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll have Tava Tase up next.
Look, thanks. Yep.
Hi, Tava. How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
We'll start with questions from Jared Lloyd.
Tava, what's your assessment of why the offense has had a tough time getting in the end zone the last couple of weeks?
I would just say that we just need to execute better and trust in the play calls. And usually it's just one or two things that needs to be fixed to be able to get in the end zone. And we just have to each double down on each one of us doing our 1/11th. And if we do that, then we'll be able to put the ball in the end zone.
Do you expect the approach to change much this week? Do you think it'll be different in any way, or is it just pretty much going to be business as usual and just fix those couple of little things you mentioned?
Well, I think our approach, definitely we need to double down on what's gotten us here to be 9-1. Obviously, we didn't want the ending to go like that, but just double down on what's gotten us here and to trust in each other, trust in our coaches, trust in the culture that we've built here, and elevate ourselves to that. So.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you're from the Valley of the Sun.
Yeah.
What's your history with Arizona State? Did they recruit you? Is this game bigger for you? All those kind of questions.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun game just because it's like 10 minutes away from home, and definitely have history with ASU. My uncle actually is the associate head coach over there right now, and yeah, it'll just be fun to be close to the family, have them all come out, and but at the end of the day, it's the next game up, and we're focused on beating Arizona State and preparing for what they have to offer. So, yeah.
How do Arizona State fans and even their players view BYU from your perspective, having lived there?
Well, I think I'm sure there's a lot of respect, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't. That think that we're just, the school up in Utah that is a bunch of Latter-day Saints that, shouldn't be where we're at. I'm sure there's a lot of that. So it'll be fun to go down there and give them our best and go get the W. So
We'll go Jake Hatch and then Jared Lloyd.
Tava, how much family are you expecting to be there? Are you gonna have to ask buddies and teammates for tickets?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of family. I have 9 siblings and a lot of nieces and nephews and a lot of family and people that have supported me up to this point. So as much as I can get, and I know some of them already gotten their tickets. So yeah, it will be a good amount there. So.
There's been some talk out there that the usage of the tight ends have not been as heavy as some fans may want it to be in this offense. What's your response to that? Well, I think everybody in every position wants to get the ball more, but all we're focused on is executing the plays that are called, and when the ball comes our way, to make a play and to go do what we can for the team in that aspect. But I think more so than anything, us tight ends, I've said it before, but we have an opportunity to affect the play, almost every play that we play, and so to be able to embrace that and to do our best in those aspects, I think that's what I think about that question. So.
Kalani talked about how it's cool that this game here in late November is between two teams that had almost no expectations. Teams you've got connections to both of them.
Yeah.
And here it is, a game that has big implications for the Big 12 championship, maybe even the college football playoff. What's that mean to you that this is the situation you're in?
Well, I think it'll be fun to be a part of the game. It's two teams that have similar mentalities. They, like you said, we were both not projected to be where we are at right now, and I think that comes with a mentality that is needed to get to where both teams are at. So it'll be fun to be able to play against a team that has a similar mentality as far as what other people have thought about them, and just happy and excited to be able to go to a good fan base and a good team that is having a lot of success. So it's a good challenge for us.
I know it's early, but I just wanted to get your impressions of the Arizona State defense that you'll be going up against. Obviously played a pretty good game last week.
Yeah, totally. I think they're, from the little film that I've watched, they're really high energy, high effort, a lot of good playmakers on that end. And, they got a good coaching staff behind them, and they're coming off a good amount of win streak and a lot of momentum on their side. So it'll be a good test for us.
Are there any more questions for Tava? Okay, perfect. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have a good day. Thank you.
Doing good, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
We'll start with questions from Jared Lloyd.
Isaiah, talking to Kalani just a little bit ago, just about, you're heading into the 11th game of the season, and so everybody's banged up. Do you feel like it's better this year? I know you guys worked really hard this offseason to try and be better prepared for the rigors of this schedule. Do you feel like that's made a difference?
Honestly, I feel like last year we had more injuries than we did this year, for sure, and it's due to our strength staff. They're taking care of us, like looking at our numbers and stuff. We wear like these GPSs out at practice, and it kind of just tracks everything that we do. So overall, I feel like we feel better, and we're playing a little bit faster than we did last year. So.
Have you noticed that personally for you, that it's had an impact in your game and how you're able to perform at this time of year?
Yeah, for sure. Last year I didn't play a whole lot. I did like more special teams. I wasn't really playing defense a whole lot, but overall I feel like me playing minimum like 50 snaps a game this year is just like I feel good. And it's like, I don't know, I feel usually Mondays are kind of like hard days for me just because I'll play a game on Saturday, but as soon as we practice and here comes Saturday, I feel back to normal again. So.
Thanks, Jared. We'll take our next questions from Jake Hatch and then Jay Drew.
Isaiah, you seem to have unlimited range on the field. Is that from your background as a safety in high school? What's led to you being able to make plays sideline to sideline?
Honestly, just growing up playing every position, I feel like when I was in Little League, I started off as I was like a running back, and I played a little bit of safety, and then as soon as I got to high school, I played mostly receiver, and then just a little bit of safety as well. And then as soon as I got to college, they thought defense was the position for me. So I don't know, being able to play safety when I first got here kind of taught me how to move side to side, straight or widen out the field. And so I would say probably that. But
most of the metrics you guys held Kansas to were well below their season norms. Was there something you guys saw on film that said, hey, we're going to have success here? Or was that just the result of you guys playing good defense?
I would just say playing good defense and having a good game plan. Jay Hill always gets us prepared with the good game plans and basically like the defenses that we run. He watches a whole lot of film. So I don't know, us just believing in Jay Hill's plan is like a big factor in why we play good on defense. So.
Isaiah, we just heard Coach Kalani say this is a good moment for you guys' identity to show. From your perspective, what is that identity of this 2024 BYU football team?
I would say when they swing first, we'll see how we respond. You know what I'm saying? We knew going into this game that Kansas was going to be a good team, and we just knew that we were going to have to bring everything in. We fell short, so this coming week we're just going to have to see how we respond. And I believe in our boys, and like I trust our coaches, and I feel like this is going to help us stay on top of the little things like Kalani emphasizes. So.
Is Arizona State any sort of, because they're a neighboring school, neighboring state, does that bring any more energy from you guys, or is the fact that this is a huge game enough motivation?
I would say probably just a huge game. I don't know. We look at every team as you can't really sleep on any team in the Big 12. So having to play these guys, we just got to prepare more than we normally have. So.
Go ahead, Sean.
Zay, how quickly do you sit on kind of what happened and not even necessarily the result, but kind of that feeling that you had in the post-game locker room? Kalani was telling us after the game just how emotional it was for you guys. And how quickly do you kind of just move on and focus entirely on ASU? If that makes sense.
I'd probably say it took me like about a day. I thought about the whole yesterday, like Sunday, and I don't know, just knowing the boys, we just need to come back and lock in again, kind of put what's in the past, and just focus on what we got coming up, ASU. So.
Well, focusing on what you got coming up is a really, really good offense in general, but their running back in particular, Cam Skattebo, kind of stands out. Just what do you sort of make of him? I'm sure you've watched him a little bit, and you guys have a recent history of facing off against really good running backs. Something about that in the Big 12 with Devin Neal and Mekhi Bernard and kind of even going back before that and whatnot. So just what do you make of Skattebo and that run game in particular at ASU?
He's a good running back, and knowing Jay Hill, we're going to be ready for the run. And me personally, I'm excited to go against good backs, you know what I'm saying, just to see what our defense is really made of. And I don't know, we have a history of stopping good backs, and so I'm excited to see what this game is going to be talking about. So.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Isaiah, you're a guy who grew up in Utah, as far as I'm aware. I'm assuming you're a football fan to some level. Are you hoping that a series like this against ASU can reignite what used to be a pretty healthy rivalry almost 50 years ago?
See, I wasn't really I've never really been part of this little rivalry that they got going on, but I don't know, being able to play ASU, like growing up watching ASU, I feel like it's going to be an exciting game for me, and I'm just excited to go against the offense they have, the high caliber, the offense they have in their running game. So I feel like our defense, we're going to be ready for it, but I'm really excited.
Thank you.
All right, I think that's all the questions for today. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Zay. Have a
Yeah,
good week.
you too.